Okay, so what happens if you want to convert from grams to moles a molecule, such as water? Okay, so in this example, it says how many moles of water are in 36 grams of water. And of course, water is H2O. So I want you to pause the video and tell me which one you think are our given values and which are our wanted units. Okay, so the given in this case is our 36 grams of water. So I want you just to imagine that someone gave you a glass of water and this water weighs 36 grams. Okay, so that's our given. So underneath the given section, I'm going to write 36 grams of water, H2O, right? And I'm going to put that over 1. Our givens go over 1. And our wanted in this case is the moles of water, right? That's they want to know that. They want to know how many moles of water. So our wanted is moles of H2O. Alrighty. So now we can see once again that our given units are in grams of water. Our wanted units are in moles of water. So they're different units. Okay, so what that means is we have to go from grams to moles, which means that we have to cancel out the grams. So what I'm going to do, I want to get rid of grams, we want to get to moles. So I'm going to put grams of water diagonal, okay, diagonal from your given. So we got our grams of water up here. So on the diagonal, in this case, it's on the bottom, diagonal from it. I'm going to put my grams of water down there. Okay. This will help cancel out my units, my grams of water. Well, what am I going to turn in this top box? My units are going to be moles of water. Okay. So this helps me cancel out my grams units, and I'm left with my moles units, which is what I'm wanting. Okay, so I'm good. I finally got the units I want. Now the question is, what numbers, what values am I going to put in these two boxes, in the moles and the grams of water? What values am I going to put there? Okay, that's where this comes into play. Okay, because if you remember, our units right here are moles per gram, or if you want to think about it another way, grams per mole. And we know that grams per mole or moles per gram, however you want to look at it, that equals your molar mass. Molar mass. Okay? So how do I get molar mass for a molecule? In the previous problem, we looked, I'm going to go back to the previous problem really quickly. We looked at the molar mass for an element, just for carbon, and that's easy. You just look at the periodic table. But here, we're doing the molar mass for water, for H2O. That H2O isn't on the periodic table by itself, okay? You have to go to the periodic table and find out the molar mass for your hydrogen and oxygen. And you have to do this. You have to do your molar mass for water in this method, okay? This is what we did last class. Okay, so let's figure out the molar mass of water, and you're going to use the same technique we did last class. So here's our molecule, it's water. So what elements do we have here? We have hydrogen, we have oxygen. That's it. Okay, now let's look at our subscript. What's our subscript for hydrogen? Well, I go back to my molecule and I see this number 2 there. That's my subscript for hydrogen. So I'm going to put a 2 right here. Okay, so my subscript for hydrogen, and I'll highlight hydrogen right here. The subscript is right here. It's at 2. Okay, so here's my hydrogen. So I put a subscript of 2. Okay, now what about my oxygen? What's my subscript for oxygen? Well, I look at my oxygen right here. I'm highlighting my oxygen in the formula. Notice I don't see a subscript right there. There's no subscript. If you don't see a subscript, that means that your subscript is a 1. Okay, so for my oxygen here in the equation, I'm going to put a 1 there. All right, I'm going to draw out the molecule of water so you see what it looks like. Here's my H2O. So notice in this molecule of water, I have two hydrogens, just like I have two hydrogens here, and I have one oxygen. So I have one oxygen. Okay, so just to kind of, you get a visual of that as well. Okay, all right. So now let's do our molar mass. What's my molar mass for hydrogen? Well, let me go to my periodic table here. I look for hydrogen on my periodic table, and I see it right here on the top left corner, right? And my molar mass for hydrogen is 1. Therefore, it is 1 gram per mole. That's what molar mass is. It's grams per mole. Okay? Now let's look at my molar mass for oxygen. Go back to my periodic table. Oxygen is over here on the kind of on the right side. And my molar mass is 16. I'm rounding the number. I get 16. And the units for this are grams per mole. Molar mass is grams per mole. Okay? I'm going to put my little multiplication sign here. I forgot to put that. Now I'm going to put my equal sign over here. And then I'm just going to multiply across to get my total molar mass. So 2 times 1 equals 2 grams per mole. 1 times 16 is 16 grams per mole. And then I add them together. So I get a total of 18 grams per mole. All right? That's my molar mass for water. Grams of H2O per mole of H2O. Here's my molar mass for water. 18 grams per mole. 18 grams of H2O per mole of H2O. So what am I going to do with this number? I'm going to go back to the previous problem. And I have here in this space, I have my grams per mole in this space. Okay, once again, it's flipped. It's upside down. The grams is in the bottom and the mole is on top. But that's fine. No big deal. Okay, remember it's 18. My molar mass for water is 18 grams per mole per 1 mole of water. Okay, oops, sorry about that. Okay, so now that I filled in my numbers, all I got to do is multiply across the top. 36 times 1 is 36. Multiply across the bottom. 1 times 18 is 18. Okay. Notice once again that on the top, the units that I have are moles of H2O. Right? The units on the bottom, I don't have any units. On the bottom, this 18 doesn't have any units. And then I just divide those two numbers. So what's 36 divided by 18? 36 divided by 18, and I get 2. And that's my answer. So I'm going to write the 2 in this kind of blue color here. 2. And my units, once again, are moles of water. This is my answer. Okay? So when the question asks how many moles of water are in 36 grams of water, now I know that in 36 grams of water, there is 2 moles of water. Okay? All right. So what I want you to do now, I want you to answer this question here. You're going to do it on your own, okay? It's pretty much the same kind of steps we did here. Okay? But it's for a different molecule and it's for a different mass. But it's pretty much all the same steps, okay? I want you to work it out. Figure this out. So I want you to work this problem out, and I'm going to give you the answer here. Work out the whole problem, but I'm going to give you the answer, and if you do the problem right, you should get this answer. Okay? So your final answer should be 0.113 moles CO2. Okay? This is what your final answer should be, but once again, you have to work out all the steps. Work out all the steps. This should be your answer. Okay, if you didn't get it, go back, look at how you did your other notes, and kind of just see what mistake you might have made. Okay, but hopefully you'll get this. All right, once you get this, you can move on to the lab for today.